Hello, I'm Adrian.
Hey, and I'm Omri.
Justin Pagal is also here.
And today we're going to talk about the Great Depression and how it affected Canada. Cool, cowabunga, dude. The worldwide Great Depression of the early 1930s was an economic crash that left millions of Canadians unemployed, hungry, and homeless. But wait, there's more. Canada was severely affected by this crash due to Canada's heavy dependency on raw materials and farm exports. This, combined with the treacherous weather conditions in the prairies, became known as the Dirty 30s.
The Canadian government changed the economy from a laissez-faire, which means let, do, wait and see, to a hands-on approach. The expansion of factories that occurred during World War I allowed Canada to overproduce goods during the 1920s. Some staple products were timber, minerals, and crops. The economy was very dependent on the US, as they bought 40% of Canada's exports. This means that if America's economy declined, Canada's economy would meet the same fate. Tariffs, implemented by the US, were introduced to Canada, and this helped protect their industries. Canada started investing in the stock market. However, they were often bought on a margin, borrowed money. This act was called speculating, and it resulted in massive inflation of stock prices, which soon led to the stock market crash.
Stock prices began to decline in September and early October 1929, and October 18th, the fall began. On October 24th, also known as Black Thursday, a record of 12,894,000 shares were traded. Investment companies and leading bankers attempted to stabilize the market by buying up great blocks of stock, producing a moderate rally on Friday. On Monday, however, things took a turn for the worst, and the market went to freefall. Black Monday was followed by Black Tuesday, October 29th, which stock prices completely collapsed and 6,400,000 shares were traded on the New York Stock Exchange in a single day. Billions of dollars were lost, wiping out thousands of investors, and stock takers ran hours behind because the machinery could not handle the tremendous volume of trading. Even though few Canadians actually owned stock, millions were affected. Bankrupt companies and individuals, high unemployment rate, and a decline in price due to a decline in demand.
During the Great Depression, Canadian citizens were greatly impacted to the point where many people had to change the way they lived their lives just to survive. The stock market crash left many people without jobs, concurrently leaving them without any sort of income, leading to a massive decline in lifestyle. Now many people lived in extreme poverty. During this time, people were forced to find ways to cope. This created a new lifestyle surrounding this poverty. Entertainment played a huge role in soothing the pains of the average person living in poverty. It was a means of distraction, a distraction from the unemployment, the homelessness, the starvation, and from their overall terrible situation. During this time, a sense of community was very strong. So entertainment came in small actions, such as playing cards with some friends, local dances, listening to some music, or even simply appreciating each other's company. There was also the more standard version of entertainment, which is more prominent in our era, like movies, magazines/newspapers, radios, fairs/exhibitions, comic books, and etc. These are all examples of escapism, which is the tendency to seek distraction from unpleasant realities. There were very few jobs available for men at this time. The very few who were lucky enough to keep their jobs received very low wages. One thing many people did was move to different urban areas looking for jobs. These people were called transients. They would often move cities, never staying in one location for very long. Women had it no better, as they were forced back to being housewives, and since there were only a few jobs available, companies hired men over women constantly. Married women were forbidden from working, so many females chose to remain single in the hopes of becoming a teacher or nurse, which were the only two options for women. Governments tried to provide some aid to the people with various methods. Unemployment relief camps were set up by Prime Minister R.B. Bennett. This was a system of camps to provide work for single, unemployed, homeless Canadian males. Men voluntarily entered the camps through the Employment Service of Canada. They were free to leave at any time, in return for bunkhouse residence, 3 daily meals, work clothes, medical care, and 20 cents a day. In return they labored at 44-hour work weeks clearing bushes, building roads, planting trees and constructing public buildings.
R.B. Bennett put $20 million towards emergency relief. He raised the tariffs on imports to 50% in order to protect Canada's industries from foreign competition and end the trade deficit. Bennett also did food vouchers, private charity, relief works, work camps, and soup kitchens to try to ease the pain of those in need. Bennett's plans prolonged the Great Depression because of his protectionism cut off exports. Bennett offered a New Deal which he borrowed from the FDR's New Deal in the US. Bennett promised laws to control big businesses, to increase the income and business taxes, reduce farm debts, introduce minimum wages, 8-hour day shifts, unemployment insurance and a health insurance, and a better old age pension. Mackenzie King thought it was the responsibility of the provinces to aid their own citizens. He wasn't prepared for the Depression, and he didn't take an interventionist approach to the economy. King was eventually openly criticized for his controversial statement that he wouldn't give 5-cent piece of relief money to any province that had a conservative government.
The CCF was ran by J.S. Woodsworth, who was a conscientious objector during World War I and worked as a minister in Winnipeg, helping the homeless. He believed that the free enterprise system had failed the people during the Depression, and that the government needed to take a greater role during the Depression. He proposed unemployment insurance, free medical health care, family allowances, and old-age pensions. Many of his ideas have been adopted in Canada. His Co-Operative Commonwealth Federation (CCF) party later was renamed NDP in 1961. The Social Credit was ran by Bible Bill Aberhart, who was a preacher and a schoolteacher from Alberta. They thought that depression was caused by the people not having enough money to buy goods and services, especially farmers. His idea was to give every citizen $25 per month, so people will buy more products and help the economy. His party was called the Social Credit Party. His party was elected in 1935 in Alberta, but they never paid out the certificates. Radical, bro.
In 1937, the world economy began to straighten out, even though international trade was still on the decline. In 1938 to 1939, countries recovered from the Depression and proceeded to rebuild their economic system, but Canada remained behind others. It would take Canada 2 more years to pull through the Great Depression, but this was at a high cost.
So yeah, that's our presentation. We hope you enjoyed it. It is 5 AM right now, and I'm still not done editing. So I personally really hope you enjoyed it. Mrs. Anderson, please give us an A. That would be very cool of you. Cowabunga dudes.